What?
Let's get this going.
Yeah.
What do you say?
What?
You get a haircut
Yes.
since yesterday?
Since 11:30 today, I said I'm getting the wig chopped and needed it.
Oh,
My
yeah.
head was starting to look like his beard.
I mean,
It's getting gray and long and just.
so it looks nice.
It did look nice.
Yeah, there you go.
It did
Yeah.
look nice. But
You guys look like a before and after on a talk show, like a makeover.
a little bit just for men,
Whatever, guys. Whatever. I look good.
You do look good. No.
Yeah, there's lots of guys that want to be me and lots of women that want to be with me.
I'll
That's
take
all
your
I'm saying.
full game. How about that?
Oh, well, yeah.
I'll take your full game.
Yeah, that's cool. You want to get worse. That's awesome.
Oh,
Great.
thanks.
Okay.
Crazy psychos. TPS reports. We're back once again with another fantastic show coming your way. I'm Justin.
This is Brandon.
Easy.
Yes, Pat joining us from a place that we have no idea where he is. It looks dark.
Deep, dark in a hole.
Yes.
That's where he is right now.
It'll never find me.
He's down there. He found the place that Bin Laden was. There you go. Sorry.
Good close.
Yeah, sorry. All right, guys. We got a good tournament to talk about here. It was October 5th, points event number 8 out of 10. That means only 2 more to go. We did 10 ball this time, only our second 10 ball event of the year. The first one was back in March, so it's been a very long time since we played 10 ball. We're at Smoke and Q once again, where we also had our other 10 ball event, and we paid out a total of $3,080, had a full field of 32 players, and we had some awesome sponsors that I'm go ahead and mention here really quick before we get into our show. That's going to be amazing. Sponsors, Deadstroke Media. That was you, Pat. Although you were not there, you were out getting married. Congratulations.
Again?
Yes. Lucky lady. That's all I got to say. Very lucky.
Jared.
Hopefully she watches. Shout out to the awesome Mrs. Pat Dixon. No, she's not going to watch. Okay. Great. We're also sponsored by Inkwell Design, who made the fantastic trophy that somebody got to walk away with. I was kind of jealous. This one looked pretty freaking cool. We're also sponsored by John Patera at Remax Metro Realty. Sadly, he could not play this time. Paul Harrison Custom Q sponsored us again. I think he was out of town, too. I think he was at a Cardinals baseball game. Portico, licensed general contractors. Corey sponsored us again. Always appreciate him. The Roundabout Grill, a new sponsor. It's a little grill up in Salisbury, breakfast and lunch spot. Y'all check it out. Pool Doctors, Josh Mullinex. We definitely appreciate him sponsoring as always. Need him to come and play again, by the way. Furniture Outlet and Consignment, Rod Matthews. Definitely go check them out. They got a great sale going on this week also. So if you're watching the show the week of whatever this is, October 20th, go check them out. They got a great sale going on. And then Premier Imports of Charlotte, Ricky Carcamo, who did play in the event. Sadly, not a very good showing for him. He went 2 and out, but he always has fun, and it's always fun to have him there. So definitely appreciate all of our sponsors. And let's just go ahead and get into the tournament. Pat, you were not there, but, just from what you've seen, from what you've read, we had some awesome photos that were taken and posted. Pat, what do what's your thoughts just on the tournament without, being there?
Seems like you guys had a great time. Seems like players played, balls went into holes, okay? Fouls at times, and someone came out victorious.
No controversial fouls, though, this time.
No controversial foul? There has to be at least one per tournament, man.
Well, not on video. Not on video this time. Brandon showed up late, but was there as he works Saturdays now. Big time job. Brandon, what did you think, man? I mean, you watched a little bit before you showed up, and then you commentated.
I did. This place I'm working is pretty serious about staying focused.
Good.
So I'd sneak to the restroom, claim my stomach was hurting
Nice.
a little bit, and watch some pool for a while. Beautiful thing.
Perfect.
After 6 o'clock, I was tuned in. That's for sure. A lot of great matches, a lot of great action. Love every time we see newcomers come to the money, or at least one newcomer this time.
Yeah.
The other one has been a good while since he cashed.
Has been a while.
Good to see him get in there. Tell you what, the stories down at the end were great. can't wait to talk about them. It was an awesome event.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and get into these guys that cash. So we had 32 players as always. We cap it at 32. We filled it up. Same format as the non-ball tournaments. So races to 3, 2 out of 3 sets. We did not play, I guess, what you would call BCA 10-ball rules. Is we did not call every shot. Both of you guys played BCA, I believe,
Yes.
right? So Pat, what do you think? Were you okay with these rules, or do you think we should have just dove all in and played call shots?
I think it keeps it consistent with what we do anyway at the pool series for 8, 9, but I would say in 2025, I think 10 ball should be classic 10 ball where we call all shots. I think it should be that way. I think that brings another dynamic to that style of game. And it's kind of one of the, I don't know if feature is the right word, but like one of the main things about 10 balls that you got to call everything or there's no slop. So I think we should make that adjustment.
I like that. I think we'll see what the committee says. Brandon, what do you think about the rules?
I think I agree that every ball should be called in 10 ball. I've always felt that way. I've always wondered about the call shot, call safe rule. I'm kind of not a big fan of that one. But yeah, I definitely like the idea of call pocket. The thing I do like is that the 10 can count early in these rules.
I like that.
Where
I
in
like that.
BCA it does not count early. It's last ball. So I don't know. I am always a favor of call balls, but I also like early 10s too. I think that should be part of the game as well.
So you're kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
So I think we got 3 different opinions here. Pat's on one side, Brandon's in the middle, I'm on the other side. So that's pretty cool. I like that. It's always good to have a little bit of I guess differences of opinion, I guess, so to speak. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, let's get into the top 8 players here in our tournament. First and second was kind of split, but the guy that won the hot seat was BJ Ussery. Only I think like the second time we've seen him this year in one of our points events. He split with Mike Davis, who he beat for the hot seat. So Mike Davis kind of coming in second place. BJ walked home with the trophy. The rest of the finishers in the money was third place Hank Powell, fourth place Renal Bott, fifth, sixth Josh Heater and Eddie Little, and seventh, eighth Chris Clark and Onyx Stinson. Let's just throw it to Pat first. And Pat, what's your thoughts, just first and foremost about, all those top 8 players?
Overrated comes to mind initially.
Yeah.
Everyone's stuck. No, I'm just kidding. Not at all. No, 2 names stick out. First off, Josh Heater. Is this his first time playing in the pool series event? Like a points event all year? Or is this like his second?
Yeah, it was his first points event. Yeah.
He played at the 30th anniversary, I think is what I'm remembering.
Yes. And I think, did he play in the one pocket? He didn't play in the one pocket, did he?
Mm-mm.
No. So yeah,
Okay.
this is only his second event of the year.
I figured it had to be something like that because I've seen it at 5th and 6th, and I would have I put together the top 32 list and I didn't see his name on there. I'm like, why is that? It's like, oh, because this is the first points event that he's actually played in. But good to see him come out to one of our points events. Hopefully he likes it. Hopefully he comes back. Just makes me feel that much stronger.
It's tough for him now being a new dad, so congratulations to him. First time we've really got to say that on stream. So I've told him in person, I've told him through message, but yeah, so hopefully he gets to play some more though. Yeah.
That will not be happening. All right. So and then the other name that pops out, Onyx Stinson cracking into the top 10 with which I believe is his first pool series points event that he's played in.
Yeah, that was also his first points event. He also played in the 30th anniversary though. So it was also his second event of the year, but first points event, yes.
I know we were just talking about it kind of before the show started about that kid, man, but he's somewhere right around 16, 17 years old. Sky is the limit for that guy's game.
He just got his license. He just got his license like shortly before the tournament. So however old you got to be for that is how old he is.
Bro. I just had a major self-reflection moment hearing that. But first time I played him, I went down, dude.
Life.
Man, it's like, how good am I really gonna get?
But what's crazy? He was not the only junior player in the tournament.
Who's the other one?
We had Joe Hyatt Jr. also in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Jake.
He just got second place up there at a tournament.
Yeah, he split the finals of the Strokers event
With Mike Fuller.
Yeah, Peaches.
Is that Almighty Joe? But yeah, Onyx is a great player. I ran into him like maybe a year or two ago at Sticks and Stones, just doing a random like Friday night tournament, losses tournament down there. And I think I drew him first and found out real quick why he was like one of the favorite ones in the Calcutta. I was like, who is this guy? And he was like, oh, let me show you.
That's
But yeah, hopefully,
that's
man.
like where he lives too. He lives down that way.
He's right around the corner, I believe. But yeah,
Mhm.
man, those two names are definitely ones that stick out. Everybody else, I think, um, definitely favored to be there. Like, no surprises outside of that.
For sure, for sure. Brandon, what do you think about the top 8, man? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hank Powell, you warrior. Way to stay in that. That was some of my favorite matches. Boy, he played his heart out, especially after, his match with BJ. He looked a little bit down after that, but he refocused that once once he got in the other matches. But Hank's my story for the top 8. Very proud of him. Great on how he played. He had an amazing day.
Yeah. Hank's always a solid player. I think, him being in the money is no surprise. Him being third place really is no surprise.
And I will say, watching the BJ Usry from playing in major tournaments and going far, watching that style play in this tournament was fun to watch. I don't think the guy missed the ball for an hour and a half. At least that's what it felt like.
I mean, and me and you talked about it too while we were commentating one of the matches. We said, I think his last match was, his best, and then he played even better the next match, and then he played even better the next match.
Yes.
So it was very fun to see him maybe get engaged in the tournament. And I got to play him at some point too, so that was also a lot of fun. But yeah, BJ and Mike finishing first and second was definitely no surprise. They by far, I think, were the best 2 10-ball players because their
The
break. Yeah, their break is unbelievable. Mike had the best break, I feel like, but BJ, he made a ball, I feel like, every time and had a shot every time. It just wasn't as good of a layout every time as Mike had. But I think what's crazy is I asked both of y'all what y'all thought about the tournament. Neither one of y'all even mentioned Ronald Bott, who has been in the money like every time he's played. A guy that we have come to expect to be up there, finishing 4th place. I mean, Pat, does that just tell you that this was just kind of like he didn't do anything special? Like this is just what we were expecting of Ronald, that we don't even really mention him finishing 4th?
Right. I think so. I think if he doesn't make it into the money, it's noticed. If he's not top 4, if he's not 4th or higher, it's noticed, right? But if I see him sitting at 4th and the names above him are Mike Davis, BJ Usry, and then throw in a third, you want to say Hank Powell, you want to say Clay Davis, you want to say this other person that's not Runal, okay.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I mean, Brandon, how upset were you when they decided to split?
I don't get upset because I have a firm belief that, they're professionals. This is their living. It's their money and they have the right. I mean, I'm not going to try to be in charge of your free will for that. However, with the quality of pool that we had seen out of BJ and what happened in the hot seat, I did want to see a rematch as I wanted to see if Mike would take it to him. But in the end, the business always wins.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
it should win. It's not like you and me, we go to work.
Yeah.
They're at work.
Oh
So they
yeah.
got to make sure they make the most money. It did shock me a little bit with how great BJ played in the hot seat. They didn't want to take all at first, but like I just said, I get it.
Yeah. And the only guy really in the top 8 that we have not mentioned would be Chris Clark, who took the awesome photos that you can check out on our Facebook page. So shout out to Chris, not only for making the money for the first time. I feel like I don't remember when he last made the money. It's been a while. I know he's been there. He's been there. I think he even got 5th, 6th one time at Rackham, I do believe. But yeah, shout out to Chris for taking the awesome photos. Am I wrong, Pat? Did he not finish 5th, 6th?
It was either Rackham or maybe Blue Rocks a long
Okay,
time
but it was
ago.
definitely 5th, 6th though, right?
It was a Rackham. I remember that attorney.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was him and Alan Profit both played 7th, 8th, and Chris beat him to get 5th, 6th.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it was at Rackham, but I could be wrong. Alan, I think, has only cashed 1 time, so I think that had to be the tournament, I feel like. But overall, just compared to some of the other points events of the year, this being the 8th one, Pat, how do you feel like this top 8? I mean, we saw some new faces. How does it kind of compare to some of the other events that we've had this year?
I mean, there's a lot of surprises that aren't in the top 8. You know, as I look down the list, Clay Davis for
Yeah.
sure being one of them.
13th.
Honestly, Joe Hyatt. Honestly, Mighty Joe Young, with the way that this field is looking, I'm surprised that he's not a lot closer than 17th and 24th. Very surprised to see. Honestly, you, bro. I mean, you're right there knocking the door at 9 through 12. I was surprised to see that Viandy made a return to kind of to the local pool scene. I feel like I haven't seen him in the better part of a year.
Yeah, he hasn't
It
came out.
seemed like he was really out there for a while, like really putting himself out there. They've done like $1,000 matches against Eddie Little, playing in a lot of tournaments, playing money matches, and then just kind of dropped out.
Yeah, I feel like this was the first points event he might have played also. But yeah, I feel like there's two other names that I would mention that didn't cash that I feel like we need to talk about. You already mentioned Clay, who, I mean, you look at Clay finished 13th, but I mean, it's not like he had the easiest of draws. He played Joe Hyatt Jr. first round, then he plays Mike Davis, then he plays Kim Clark, but then he plays Eddie Little. So, I mean, the two hardest matches he had, he lost both of them in the third set. So, you know, he was probably one shot away from beating one of them or beating both of them. So definitely just a tough break for Clay, really. I mean, sometimes, you kind of almost expect him to win at least one of those matches, but you could very easily see him losing both of the matches to Eddie and Mike. And he definitely won the two that he was supposed to win, beating Kim Clark and Joe Hyatt Jr. But another name that I want to mention is Greg Dix, who finished ninth. Greg coming all the way from Myrtle Beach. Fantastic player, great bar box player. It's always fun to see him. He's always a great guy, but I really thought that he would cash. I thought he would get there. And also I thought Bruce Campbell. I thought Bruce Campbell would make a run. I thought he would put on a show, but sadly he went 2-0. I know he lost to BJ first round, and then I don't know who eliminated him. Jason Blackwell eliminated him. So again, that's just a tough draw to play BJ first and then play Jason very next on the one loss side. But Brandon, I mean, is there anybody else that we have not talked about?
This is the list, right?
Yeah.
I got one that keeps sticking out
Yeah.
at me, just calling me Javier Olu.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say Javier, not because from a talent perspective with the guys you mentioned, but he has just had some great result after result with big wins in these tourneys. I mean, I still believe he's going to break through. So that definitely shocked me a little bit.
Yeah, not for sure. And I mean, his two losses were to he lost first round to Renal, then he wins 2 rounds against Joey Lowe and Chris Tootin, and then he loses to Viandy. So again, I mean, yeah, he lost to two guys one I think he's definitely supposed to lose to Renal, but I mean, I feel like Viandy could be a toss up, but you almost give the edge to Viandy a little bit.
Definitely give Viandy the edge. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a lot of the good players played each other pre-money, it seemed like. Like if you take the top 10 players possibly, I think most of them matched up prior to the money matches. But I mean, Pat, is there anybody else that we haven't mentioned yet that you think deserves a shout out?
If I got, I mean, it's really not even a stretch. I would say Jason Blackwell, man. Yeah, that guy's been playing some really good pool lately, whether it's been with TPS or just the surrounding area. I've been kind of keeping an eye on his Facebook, and his wife Mallory always kind of, she's cheerleading him on and kind of showing his progress and things like that. So, with as well as he's been playing, especially the last time that we were at Irish Q, I believe, might have been. I'm shocked to see that he's not a little bit higher up, but I think this whole conversation is just a testament to how strong the fields of the pool series have gotten from the start of the year to where we have been these last 2 months. I mean, these last couple of months, 2-3 months, this last quarter, we've had easily like the strongest fields. Like they just keep getting better and better to where if Mike Davis don't show up, if Mike and BJ don't show up, it's really like you don't know who's really going to win. There's 4, 5, 6 players that you can point and say he's got a chance to win today. So it's an exciting time, man.
Absolutely, it's definitely been some strong fields, and I mean, everybody that we mentioned outside the money lost to two guys that I feel like is either a toss up or maybe they're supposed to lose to, which tells you how strong. I would like to also give a shout out to not too many tournaments do we have this, but we talked about how we had two junior players, Onyx Stinson and Joe Hyatt Jr. We also had two ladies play, Kim Clark and Joanna Marr. So congratulations to both of them for playing, and they also both won a round. So definitely big shout out to them. More ladies do need to come and play. and we possibly need to find a way to make it more enticing for the ladies to play. But definitely a big shout out for them. I mean, and for both of them to win a round shows you that anybody can win. I mean, neither one of them are the highest level in league, so for them to come out and win a round is awesome. And also shout out to Kim Clark because I think it was her birthday that day, so even more big of a shout out for playing. So there you go. But yeah, feel like that's just another super strong field. We've had 90 players play, by the way, this year in our points events. 90 different players have played, which is incredible. Way more than I ever thought imaginable, honestly. If you include the non-points event, I'm not sure exactly what we're at. I'll have to go count, but 90 in our 8 points events. I don't know what that is. What's that? Over 11 different ones per event, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing. I guess, normally we take a segment to talk about how we all did in the tournament, but Brandon was working. Pat was.
I know how I did.
Yeah, Pat was getting married, so he probably had the best day out of all three of us. He's the winner of the group for sure.
That's the on-camera answer.
Yeah. Off camera, man. I'm so sorry, Pat. I apologize.
Live. No. I love you,
So
man.
I guess we'll just talk about we'll kind of dig deep into my tournament then for a second, since I was the only three of us that played. But I finished 9th through 12th, one out of the money, and my tournament basically went like this: I beat Greg Dix 2-1.
That's strong.
I beat Chris Tootin 2-0, and that's the last set that I win because I lose to BJ Usry 2-0, and I lose to Eddie Little 2-0. Brayden, just go ahead and tell the people what you think about Justin's tournament.
Your win over Greg Dix, I'm not going to call it a major upset, but I will call it a slight upset because I think most people would make that about a 53-47 matchup between you two.
You see, about 7 years ago, he beat me in the finals of the U.S. Amateur Qualifier.
Oh,
and I took that personally. So
hey, that can happen.
I don't think he's beaten me since then.
Hey,
but I do love Greg.
Motivation is the best fuel. Yeah. I can promise you that.
Greg's awesome though. I do love Greg. Yeah, he beat me
definitely. So that's definitely a good win.
Yeah.
And Chris Tootin's a good player too.
Oh,
so I mean, to go beat him 2-0, that's strong. So I mean, honest to goodness, you didn't play any player under a 580 Fargo the whole day.
Yeah, I mean,
Chris is in that. I don't know exactly what Chris's Fargo is, but
64.
How much?
564.
564.
Okay, so I mean that's it's like you said before. 560 is a weird Fargo because they can either play really good or really bad.
Yeah.
So I mean you had a tough day to still get 2 matches. Look at him.
Yeah. No, it was a tough match. I mean, Pat, obviously you weren't there, but I mean, what do you think about? I beat probably 2 guys that you don't know, and I lost to 2 guys that you probably do know. So I'm assuming you don't know Greg and Chris.
Greg Dix has showed up to a couple of tournaments so far. I don't know him, but I've seen him a little bit. We've talked about him before. That's definitely a good win. But honestly, Chris Tootin's a good win. Yeah. And I think even yours is also speaks to nobody has an easy route anymore. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's you playing against somebody or if it's Kim or if it's Mike. Nobody's got an easy route. So I think you definitely won the matches that you were supposed to win. How close was it between you and BJ, and how close was it between you and Eddie Little? Because sometimes you might go 0-2, but the scoreboard doesn't necessarily tell the tale of the tape.
Nah, BJ was Hill first set, and I believe 3-1 the second set.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Eddie,
so you might have even had a chance to take it to the hill, and who knows what happens in the third set.
Yeah, and Eddie was the exact opposite. It was 3-1 and then Hill.
Oh wow. Okay, so a couple balls away on both of those, and who knows? Maybe you still lose to BJ. Maybe you actually get over the hump on Eddie, and then you're kind of fighting your way through a little bit further on the loser side. So, I mean, that's a good tournament, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could have beat BJ the first set. I hung the 5-ball Hill, probably with an easy layout. But I mean, really, Greg should have beat me the first round. He missed the 8-ball Hill third set, and I mean, he should have been. I mean, it was a great run out. I think I draw broke, or maybe I missed the 1 or something. I don't remember exactly, but I know he got to the table on the 1 ball and ran out all the way to the 8 and just hung it in the pocket. So really, I got lucky. And then, yeah, Chris Tootin, always fun to play Chris. I've probably played him, a million times throughout my life. So very fun. It was a fun tournament. I mean, it was a lot of fun. These guys are really good. 10-ball break, by the way. I don't know how to rack, so my break is awful. Like, I probably had the worst break out of anybody that won a round, I would say. Like, and it was because I never could rack them good. Like, it was crazy. Like, it's unbelievable. If y'all would have seen it, you would have laughed. That's why I did not play on the stream. Luckily, I'm in charge, so I made sure. I was like, nobody wants to see this break, so we're not going to show it.
The fans appreciate what you did for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was breaking from the side. That's how bad. I was breaking from the rail. That's how bad my racks were. It was pretty sad. It was pretty sad. It was no BJ or Mike Davis break. Let's put it that
I
way.
was going to
but-
say, you said that Mike had like probably the best break and BJ kept making the ball. Where were they breaking from?
Oh, pretty much. They both broke from almost straight on where you're supposed to break from in 10-ball. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They know how to rack them. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the best I've seen BJ move in a while
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
around the table, honestly. I mean, for not playing as high a pressure pool as he's used to, which a player like him sometimes can play down to these tournaments.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
He didn't do that today on that day.
Well,
He made it a point that he was going to win that tournament and go all the way undefeated.
yeah. Well, it's funny because only 2 points events BJ's played all year have been our 10-ball.
Mhm.
So maybe he likes 10-ball better. But, the first time he came out and finished third, lost twice to Renal and didn't play good really that whole day. If you remember correctly, Brian Francis probably should have beat him the round before. I feel like there was another match where he really struggled. So I feel like you said playing down to your competition. I almost feel like that's what he did in that tournament. So this time I think he came out and was like, hey, I'm going to play. Because even against me, like, yeah, I got to the hill one set, but it's not like he was playing bad. I mean, this dude, he broke and ran at least one both sets. I believe the second set he broke and ran twice. Yeah, I mean, he definitely. I feel like BJ wanted this win more, and sometimes that's what it comes down to between BJ and Mike is who wants to win more at that given time. Because honestly, out of these 32 players, we all pretty much agree that they were the top two. Am I right, Pat? They were definitely the top two. Yeah. So it's just a coin flip, really, who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
But let's move on now. Let's move on. Let's change segments a little bit. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about our matches on the stream matches, which you can check out on the Pool Series Facebook page. You can check out on the Pool Series YouTube channel as well, as I believe that some of them are up there, maybe most of them. But we had 9 matches on the stream table, 9 matches. I'll read them off to you really quick, and then we'll kind of dive into some of them that we might want to talk about. We had first round, BJ Ussery winning 2-0 against Bruce Campbell. Second round, Mike Davis winning 2-1 against Clay Davis. Round 3, Ronald Bott winning 2-0 over Kevin Candido. Hank Powell winning 2-0 over Chris Clark. Final 4 winners side, Mike Davis 2-1 over Ronald Bott. BJ Ussery 2-0 over Hank Powell. The 5th, 6th place match, Ronald Bott 2-1 over Eddie Little. The hot seat match, BJ Ussery 2-0 over Mike Davis. And the 4th place match, Hank Powell 2-1 over Ronald Bott. Obviously, Pat, you were not there. I don't know if you've even really watched a lot of them as you've been busy since you got back. And you're a married man now, so you have no time to watch pool. But Pat, what match sticks out to you? What result sticks out to you? Which one do you want to talk about?
It's the question that I had for you. If I had to go back, if I could only watch one match tonight before night time, that's what we call it in my house. Okay. This is a married man talking. Okay. Learn the language. What is the one match that I should go that like speaks to what that tournament was?
Man, for me, it's one
Brandon
that I
has an
would
answer.
probably. Well, Brandon, do you want to go? Do you want to go or you want me to go?
Chomping. No, you go ahead. It's your show, boss.
Okay, I'll go. Honestly, for me, it's the hot seat match. BJ beating Mike 2-0. I just think to watch a player of BJ's caliber play probably like a 98 percentile match there. Like he would have got a 98 grade on this paper. That's just, to me, it's just fun to watch great players play great pool. And if you get a chance to do that, I think you got to take advantage of it. So I would rewind the tapes, watch that match again. And Mike made a couple of mistakes, which made it a little easier on BJ. But Man, I just like I said, there's something about watching great players play great pool. And even though the match was 2-0 and it wasn't as tight as some of these other matches, maybe, or even as thrilling as some of the other matches, like some of these other matches were very thrilling. I just think that's the one if you want to watch and be entertained, because we all want to be entertained, right? Is the hot seat match, BJ Osprey versus Mike Davis. But Brandon obviously I think has a different answer.
Oh, I do have
Yeah.
a different answer.
Yeah.
Because number one, this match to me was a great match, but it's okay, Pat. This is the type of match where literally one shot changed the whole trajectory of the match. Renal Bot and Hank Powell.
The fourth place match.
Yes.
Yeah.
One shot changed everything. I mean, we're warming up the bus in that match. That's something we actually talked about on the commentary.
Oh, it was over.
We're warming it. It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
This is done.
Yeah.
You would think.
This is like the Falcons up 28-3 in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's like that. Okay.
It's like that. Like let's just say we're not going to tell you because I want you to go research.
Oh, tonight.
No, yeah.
Tonight.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Let me just do it.
Yeah.
I'm watching it tonight.
Yeah. If you guys haven't watched it by now,
Renal wins the first set 3-0. Nothing to talk about there. He's being Renal.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that we didn't mention him about getting fourth place. It's like mentioning when Michael Jordan or LeBron scored 17. Who cares?
I mean,
we expect more. We expect this out of Renal Bot. So, and that's what we got in the first set, Pat. 3-0 quickly.
We had the bot man.
Gets up 2-1 in the second set. That was a little bit more nip and tuck. The second set was really good. Like it was 2-1, but it could have gone differently a couple times. So Renal is getting out. He's on the 6 ball up 2-1. And then he hits a shot. He called a nervous energy or something. That thing, honest to God, shot 3.5 feet further than he thought, right in the pocket. The 8 and 9 were pretty dead. 7 was not on the table. And then he scratches and gives Hank a walkout, and then the whole match has changed. Hank is back in the match. I mean, Hank should have lost that match 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
But the resiliency of the match was unbelievable. And Renat, I'm telling the story, and Renal, I'm telling the story with nothing but love. We all make these mistakes, but none of us expected what we saw in that shot. Justin and I were dumbfounded for at least a solid 30 seconds. Like we really had nothing to say. Like we couldn't believe it.
I didn't know what to do with my hands.
Like we were,
and
I just told him and said, I'm not over it yet. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do right now.
The best way to describe it, Pat, and I actually have it written in my notes to make sure I mention this, is when we were in Raleigh the other week, shout out to Brass Tap and Billiards, Pat was there, and Renal plays Joshua Padron. If you remember that match, Renal really had that match won. He played great the first set, should have won, and then ends up losing. Very similar situation. Renal, for some reason now, 2 tournaments in a row, has gotten to this point in the tournament where all of a sudden it's just mental errors, because he made mental errors against Josh. I mean, like no offense to Josh. Josh played great at the end of that match, but Renal probably should have won. Same with Hank. No offense to Hank. Renal should have won this match. But he gave it away. Like all of a sudden he just can't get over that hump again. And I don't really know why.
The best part about that, I didn't mention what that is. He hit an absolute dart on the 5. There was a replay worthy shot. I mean, Justin and I talked about how great and how perfect he got from the 5 to the 6. And it was a laser.
Oh, yeah.
And then that happened.
Yeah. And
we're still talking about it 3 weeks later.
Right.
No, that's definitely a good match. That's probably the most thrilling match for sure. Yeah. If you want thrilling and excitement, it's kind of like, when you talk about who wins the Oscar every year. Like, if you don't watch like the best movie, I feel like you watch probably like BJ and Mike. But if you want like the most entertaining movie, you probably go watch Hank and Renal. That's kind of like a great comparison there, I feel like.
You really just saved that analogy, because the second you said Oscars, I checked out. I checked out. I thought we were going to get a Mighty Ducks reference or something weird.
No. I mean, that is possibly the best trilogy, but whatever. It's different story.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Anyways, there are. I've made some other notes here that we got to talk about in these other matches on the stream. There's three things I feel that happen in almost every one of our events, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. All right, ready? Number one, Ronald Bott is going to beat Eddie Little, which he did for the sixth place match. Beats him 2-1. Okay.
Yeah.
Number two.
Sorry, Eddie.
Number two, Mike Davis is going to beat Ronald Bott, which he did in the Final Four winner side match, 2-1. All right. And number three, Mike Davis is going to beat Clay Davis, which he did in the second round, 2-1. Pat, why do these three things happen almost every single time? These three matches I just mentioned happen almost every time. And every time it's almost the same winner. Pat, why? Tell me, is there a reason for this?
We live in a simulation. If you get down to the bottom of the code, there's ones and zeros, baby. This is the matrix. It's a glitch. I don't know. I feel like
It's a foursome. No, by the way.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go.
No, the matrix is a foursome. Sorry.
We don't count Rebirth or whatever they wanted to call that travesty. We're talking about the Matrix to Revolutions, okay?
In that case, Rocky's the best trilogy. We'll just skip 3 and 4 and do 1, 2, and 5.
Subscribe to Podcast Hell on YouTube where we talk about film as literature. That's another podcast, man. Feel like some people just have that player on the other side. You know what I mean? That challenge is just so difficult to get over.
Yeah.
I think for Clay, it's Mike. Maybe I don't know if Clay thinks about it or not. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like results wise, like what we see.
Yeah,
for Clay, it's Mike. For Eddie, it's Runal. And then for Runal, it's also Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it's one of those kinds of situations, but very weird that each one of those keeps happening, and it keeps happening on the hill. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean every time the three matches are pretty close. I'm gonna go back. That's my job over the next couple of days is to go back through all of our points events this year and look and see how many times that these matches have happened. Because I know Ronald beat Mike once on the bar table tournament that we did this year, and Eddie beat Ronald once. I know at Blue Rocks, but I don't think Clay's ever beat Mike in the pool series event. But Brandon, I mean, what's your thoughts, man, on this this weird thing that I have?
You know what's funny? I was just sitting here thinking about when he wasn't playing. I was standing there with BJ and Renal while they were having a conversation. He kind of included me in it, and he was talking about the importance of every time you see the same players that you beat, how important it is to mash them and stay on the gas and make them remember you because that gets in your head. And then it makes them harder to beat or makes you harder to beat for them the more and more you play. That's what I kept thinking about the whole time you were talking about that whole little thing. And how right BJ is about that, because you'll notice that even in your local games, or I like to call them your 500, 600 Fargo games, not what those other guys are used to. You'll see a lot of times the same players beat the same players because for whatever reason, it's a mental matchup in their head. Yeah. It's a real thing.
Absolutely. And I just want to ask, BJ and Raw included you in a conversation. Are you
I couldn't believe it either.
Yeah. Are you part of the big three now? Like, is that what's going on?
Definitely not. I just happened to be sitting there, and for whatever reason, he decided to stare at me and include me. I'm like, you know what? This is actually good stuff.
So you're not the Chris Bosh of the big three.
I'm definitely not. I'll take his money though.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take his money though.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely nowhere near as cool.
You're the Kevin Love of the other big three?
I would love to be Kevin Love of that big three.
Brandon's more like the Mike Miller.
Oh,
Miller was a baller. That's all right.
Was that the Memphis big three?
That was a compliment.
I like Mike Miller.
He's coming off the bench, but he's knocking it down when he gets in, Yeah.
You got a fat paycheck for years. That's what counts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, so we had some great matches. Y'all go check those out. Like I said, most of them are up on the Pool Series YouTube channel. They'll all be up there very soon. Or you can just go back on Facebook and rewatch them if you want. But let's move on to the point standings now. We got 2 events left. So we've been through 8 events this year. We said we were doing 10 at the start. Top 32 make the tour championship. Brandon, you're still on there, by the way, so you're gonna have to take off a day of work.
I actually was thinking about that earlier. I said by the end of the year, because I still, believe it or not, I started with some personal days and I had
Nice.
none of them.
Oh, well, there's one.
And I'm thinking if I am still in the standings of the top 32, if I don't get bumped out, then I'm in.
Yeah. Well,
I will play. I will absolutely take that day and I will play.
all right. Well, I'm just looking at our points photo on the Pool Series Facebook page. The first page is 13, the top 13. So we'll just talk about the top 13.
Perfect.
I know it's not like the top 10, but we're going to talk about the top 13. Pat, I mean, our top 3 right now is Mike Davis, Clay Davis, Renal Bott, and then you have Eddie Little, Hunter White, and Justin Clark, right behind them. But Pat, what do you think about the top 13? I mean, just by looking at it, is there anything that stands out to you? Anything that maybe is worth talking about?
It's so beneficial to win.
Yes.
Right? If you can just win one, it's already such a hard thing to do. Regardless of how strong the field is, winning a tournament is difficult. But when you talk about the caliber of players that we consistently have in our tournament, it's that much more difficult. So I look at a guy like David Anderson, who's still in the top 13. I don't remember the last time he played in one of our events, but he's won. If he hasn't won, he's always been up there.
He never won though.
He hasn't won.
He got second place. He got second place
2 times in a row.
And look at that. Look at that. Thank you. So for him to not have won, but have gotten second place a lot of times, because we always talk about him getting over the hump. He's still there, and he's going to be definitely within the top 32 easily come December to get that invite. I do want to shout out my boy Rico Gonzalez for being in the top 8 right now. That definitely sticks out to me.
And he's been there. He's been there since day one, because the first event of the year, I think he finished either 4th or 5th, and he has not dropped, even though he had 1 or 2 bad finishes. He responds with a couple. He's been in the money or right out of the money a lot. So, I mean, he has not really faltered from that top 10 spot.
Silent assassin, man.
Yeah.
Silent assassin right there. And then outside of that, Hunter White would be higher if he played more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hunter White would probably be second if he played more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
is what it is. But top 13 strong.
Yeah, I definitely think what you were saying about winning helps you. I think we've had 6 different winners this year. Mike's won 3. Mike's won 3. Who?
BJ.
Yeah, Mike's the only multi-time winner this year, I believe. Yeah, Mike won 3, Clay won 1, Renal won 1, Hunter won 1, BJ won 1, and Clint Clark won 1.
That's right, Clint Clark.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah, so definitely winning helps you be in the top 10. Brandon, what do you think about the standings, the top 13 there?
I was actually sitting here thinking about the very first point that he said, Dave Anderson, we miss you. Come back to some tournaments, man.
Yeah.
Great player.
Pat, this could be you, man, now that you're married. Like, we could be talking about you missing. Yeah.
Yeah. At least you'll have the setup. Just be prepared for that part, though.
All right, Brandon, continue.
And I'm also going to say, and this is the second time I've mentioned him in this podcast, Javier Olu has busted into this top 10, and now he's staying there. At the beginning of the year wasn't that great for him, but throughout the middle and to this point, he's really, really picked it up. So good for him.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that sticks out to me is BJ Usser. He only playing 2 events, and he was like right around number 32, and then all of a sudden he wins one, and now he's top 10. And honestly, you got to think with 2 events left, I mean, he might. He doesn't have a shot. He does not have a shot at first place, but there's really no reason why maybe second or third could be out of the question. But that definitely sticks out to me for sure. Let's move on to page 2, which would be 14 to 26. Brandon, I mean, is anything sticking out? I mean, obviously you're there. You're there. Yeah, and Pat is there.
I was consistent throughout this entire year. I only went 2 and out one time, and that was because I had a bracket of death.
Yeah,
and that's okay. So, I mean, I didn't get in the money, but I had more 13, 16s, and 9, 12s. I had enough of those to keep me, in the top 32. So, um, love to see Liam Wynn get back to some events. He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Clint Clark is not the 14th best player in this point standings. He is easily top. I'm just going to say top 10 to keep
Oh
it
yeah, for
politically
sure. Yeah.
correct.
He
How
should be
about
on
that?
page 1. Let's put it that
That's
way.
good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I could also say that about Brian Francis and who else?
Just
Oh,
because,
and Pate and
just
Jeff
because
Pate.
Brian Francis might watch does not mean we have to talk good about him. I'm just saying.
Oh, I wasn't trying to.
I'm
talk
just kidding,
about
Brian. I'm
him.
just kidding. Brian knows. Yeah, I just know Brian would be watching, so gotta make fun of. But yeah, Jeff Pate for sure. Pat, what do you think about page 2, man? I mean, obviously you're on there, so.
Hey.
Best of the 3 pages, if you ask me. Right, buddy? Ain't that right?
Yeah.
No. I think page 2 is well, let me say it this way. It pays to show up. That's how
Yeah.
I'm on page 2. I just show up to events, try to win a match or two if I can, try to go as far as I can, go 0 out, 0 and 2 a lot, 1 and 2 a lot. But
See, I call this one.
it's
I like to call this page the like the land of misfit toys because you have 4 or 5 guys that easily, if they showed up a couple more times, would be probably top 7 or 8. And then
right.
you have another 4 or 5 guys on this page that are there because they have showed up almost every time. So it's kind of like a good mixture of you have some really good players and you have some players that are getting better and playing a lot. So yeah, but continue on with your
Right.
thoughts, Pat.
No, I think that sums it up perfectly. I think that's nail on the head. That's exactly what it is.
Perfect.
So,
Perfect.
yeah, the thought was that, sorry, real quick. Um, I talked to a lot of players who still play in league and they don't want to come to tournaments because they don't want to play people like Clay and Mike and BJ and running into those guys. You know what I mean? But it's like, do you really want to get better? Because tournaments are a place for everybody. You're going to run into some top dogs, but you can also have your 350, 400, 500 and sub Fargos coming out there and having a chance, winning some matches, getting that tournament toughness down, learning more of the game. You know what I mean? So come out to more tournaments, folks.
Agreed.
Stay away
I'd,
from your local leagues.
I'd like to tell all the APA players if you quit that APA stuff for a little bit, playing some good events, you come back to the APA, it won't feel so difficult, I promise you.
No, yeah. This is definitely a great way to get.
That's
But
how it works.
yes. And let's move on and talk about players that are right outside the top 32. Guys that probably need to play in at least one of these next 2 events or points events. There's a lot of good names right outside this top 32. You have Greg Dix, Chris Brower, Monic Surrey, Josh Heater, Mark Bolton, Onyx Stinson, who we talked about, Jimmy Tanner. I mean, Pat, is there anybody that you kind of see out of this group that, you know, definitely you think should come and play because they might have a chance in the tour finale? Or is there anybody you just want to see come and play because you want them to be there?
Just all of the names that you just mentioned
Yeah.
can
What
be
about?
top 32 easy,
Yeah, absolutely.
just to answer that question. The one person that sticks out, he was probably the first player that wowed me early on when we first started doing the pool series, and that was John Horton.
Oh yeah.
John Horton. I think he is supposed to be coming to the next one of their fast action billiards.
Yeah, but sadly not a points event.
Right.
Yeah, he's
Sadly,
way
not a
down low.
points event. So,
He's only played 1 event this year, so he's got a long ways to go.
yeah, I would love to see him come out and play more.
For sure,
I
absolutely.
really like John's game.
Absolutely. Brandon, is there anybody that you think, that should be in the top 32 that's not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Monic Surrey,
Yeah.
no question. And, well, I mean, Josh Heater, talent wise, no question.
Yeah.
But, with his, becoming a father and living a much better life now, I'm happy for him there. However, very talent worthy. So is Brower for sure.
Yeah.
But Monic, is the one that sticks out the most to me.
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at the next 10 players outside the top 32, so spots basically 33 to 42, you got about 5 players on that list that if they played in more of our events would really strengthen the field.
Yeah.
And, those 5 would probably be contending for top 10 on our points list.
Forgive me. There is one more that I can't ignore. I don't know how I just blanked over. Mark Bolton,
Yeah. Yeah.
for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, even Greg Dix only playing in 2 events and being 1 spot out is really awesome. But like I said, I mean, it just shows you that, showing up definitely helps, like Pat said. And, to have 90 players, to have 90 different players play this year is pretty awesome. And that makes it even harder to get in the top 32 because you have to show up. I mean, shout out, honestly, shout out to William Woody, who's 28th in the points. I mean, the dude's won 2 rounds all year, but he's played every event. He's getting way better for sure. 100% he's getting way better.
Yes.
And he's having a lot of fun. And he just shows you that, this is a great way to get better. This can really improve your game. And what kind of crazy world would we live in if he makes the tour finale and makes the money? I mean, I think that would be poetic, very
It'd be the
awesome.
greatest pool series story ever told.
Yes, we'll make a movie.
We will make a movie, and I will play his character.
It'll be straight to Tubi. That's what it'll be on. Yeah, not Netflix. It'll be on Tubi, but we'll have it. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. And then let's mention our next event though, which is not a points event, but it is a non-ball event, our normal non-ball event. So 500 added, 32 players, best 2 out of 3 sets. It's gonna be at the new pool, Fast Action Billiards up in Statesville, owned by David Dool and Clint Clark. Super excited to go there. I've been there once to check it out. It's a really awesome pool hall. Pat, you're actually going to be there this time, so tell us, what do you think? You have yet to be there, but you've been looking forward to it. So just tell us, kind of your thoughts.
Can't wait, man. We're gonna go play pool.
Absolutely.
That's all I care about. But to be able to do it at Clint Clark's new place, I hear he's got diamonds in there.
1.
He's got 1 diamond there. Where are the rest of them?
It's like 1 diamond, I believe 4 Brunswicks and 3 Gandys, but don't hold me to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. But the fact that we're kind of branching out, we've touched up in Raleigh at Brass Tap. Now we're touching over in Statesville at Fast Action Billiards next, man. 2025 is going to be really exciting, and this weekend is going to be super, super exciting. I can't wait.
Yes.
Strong list of players.
Yeah, and we've talked to some other pools in some other areas as well for next year. So
yeah, man, gonna be a good time.
I'm saying, Brandon, you're going to make an appearance up here, right?
I can't wait. I'm fired up to see this.
Yeah.
I want to call this tournament, meet some new players, get
You've
back
been on the mics.
Get back on the mic with that guy. And you too.
I'll be too busy playing, but I'll try to stop by.
Yeah, we do got a few new players signed up for us. So that's gonna be awesome. Very quickly, our next points event though will be November 2nd. Points event number 9 at Smoking Q. Also non-ball, also 500 added, also 32 players. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Y'all go ahead and get signed up for that one as well. I think right now we're like just over 20 players are signed up so far. So that's gonna be pretty awesome. That's gonna be a great tournament. It's the penultimate tournament, so to speak, of the points event. There we go. Pat, that's my word of the day. We've been working on this.
You did it.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, I think. I think people need to show up. If you want to qualify for the $2,500 added tour championship, you gotta play in these next 2 events. You need to secure your spot. I think outside of probably that first page of the top 13, I don't feel like anybody's that safe. So, Pat, I mean, just are you excited for really November, because November will also be our 10th points event. So we're gonna have 2 points events in November. We got a great time coming up. Pat, give us your thoughts just on the rest of the year.
Next 45 days is going to be huge, man. Going to be super, super exciting as we wrap up the year. Fast Action Billiards, coming back to Smoking Q, getting these points events knocked out, seeing who are going to be the top 32 to get invited to the championship at Smoking Q at the end of the year. Bro, cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Yeah, the first tour championship of the pool series, super exciting. Brandon, just what do you think about the rest of the year, man?
I'm looking forward to watching the shifting between about spots 20 and 32. See who gets in, who gets left out. That's going to be exciting.
I like it. So, I mean, if you go back to the points, really, it looked like Mike had first place locked up. which we've pretty much all agreed on, correct?
He's how far ahead of Clay?
200.
Unless he goes 2-0 and Clay wins.
All right, so let's who gets second place? Clay or Renault? That's pretty much
How
I
far
feel
apart are they?
80.
And there's 2 events
Clay.
left. I think Clay's going to
I
stay
think
in
I think
second.
Clay also. And then do we think Renault finishes third?
I do. Unless Hunter White comes and wins both.
Pat, is that what you're thinking? Renault finishes third?
Ooh. Renault finishes third
Yeah.
if Hunter White doesn't show up.
So we're just all skipping over Eddie Little, who's in fourth right now.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes.
But we love you, Eddie.
Well, we also know
Yeah.
one of the 3 rules of the pool series: Eddie cannot beat Renault. So there's that.
Eddie,
Yeah.
I hope you're watching, and the next time you see Renault, you just house him. I really, because of this, I really hope so.
Hey, we're friends with everybody, but you know we can still speak the truth and hurt
That's what
feelings.
makes it great. Oh, hurting feelings is the best part.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I still hold a lot back because I don't want to be mean, but there's whatever. Guys, this has been a super fun show. It was fun talking about the 10-ball event at Smoking Q. Let's just end the show on a good note. Pat, you got any last words?
See y'all next week.
See y'all next week. Brandon.
I'll be there 6:30-ish. Looking forward to it. Big time.
Perfect. And I'll just say go check out the Pool Series YouTube channel. Go check out the Pool Series Facebook page. Watch the TPS reports. Listen to the TPS reports. Love us all as we're awesome people, fun times. And yeah, we'll check you later.